Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome. Holy crap, there's huts. Oh, it's a yurt. Excuse me. There are yurts here, and there's a lot of villagers, and there's 8 kings in this game, and the goal is to be the last man standing. 8 players from the community, as we call community games, and we got hyper random here, which switches things up. The amount of resources on each type of resource is different in hyper random, and the geese are very thin geese, apparently. Only 39 food on these geese. That's something the players are going to have to manage. The berries, though, 300 food on each bush. The gold, 1,400 gold on each tile. Are there any boars here? The boar's just 134 food. So, yeah, food's going to be a little awkward unless you find this guy. That's 451 there. So that's kind of the idea. Hyper Random also gives us very unique gen and, you know, adds some cool stuff like a sea tower. Oh, it's a lighthouse. We'll see how this ends up working. Apparently, it has 1,000 attack. Or that's defense. But it does apparently do damage. I wonder if this is collectible, guys. If I had to guess right now, I would say if someone goes up to it, it switches to their color. We'll find out later. But we've got 8 players for this game, so let's just get our introductions in. Everyone's starting to ally each other as they want to be friends for now. In the blue, we've got Deadly Cookie. Deadly Cookie playing as the Malians. In the yellow, we have Spirit Airlines, which I don't know how well known Spirit Airlines is for most of my audience. It is an airline you will find in the States, at least. Had some awful experiences on this airline. So this is by no means me being sponsored by Spirit Airlines, unless, of course, Spirit Airlines would like to finally refund me the $184 that I am owed from them, that they have still not refunded me for the horrible airline experience I had like a year ago. So yes, not sponsored. Anyways, sorry, Yellow. Not very fond of your name. Playing as the Malay. In the teal, we have Skillzoo playing as the Byzantines. In the purple or magenta, we have Dr. Orr playing as the Huns. In the red, we have Omni Shambles playing as the Magyars. In the gray, we've got Dutch name I can't pronounce, which is pretty much what I call this player every single time. But it could also just say Coke, playing as the Saracens. In the orange, we have Dandy Dan. Good old Dandy Dan. I like it, playing as the Chinese. And last but not least, we've got Philster, community game legend. Good to have him back in a game. He's been around this community for, what, 5-6 years now? It's been a bit. He's not the only one, actually, in this game that's been around a bit. I know Deadly Cookie's been around a hot while as well. Or hot while. I combined for a hot minute and for a while and made it a hot while. I don't think that's a phrase. But anyways, we made it one. And looking forward to seeing how these guys play this. So I'm also very curious on what will happen with this tower. Because it looks like a sea tower. But there's different names for similar types of towers in the scenario editor. And what Hyper Random does is Hyper Random sometimes tosses in some things you wouldn't see in a normal game. There's rivers that seem to go through here. And to me, it looks like ships can pass all the way through this, which is pretty important. If there was ever a point where the ships couldn't pass, it might not end up being worth it. But from at least what I'm seeing, I believe there's always going to be a passageway, which could mean ships could be really strong in later stages. There's really not a lot in the middle area of value. I mean, there's trees, of course, and yay, trees. But there's not a lot of stone and gold.
Gold, please.
So let's see how things go. Hi, Yellow. We're neighbors. Let's be friends.
Gold, please.
And Yellow says, yes. 5 yo, my B. Is that Yellow saying 5-year-olds? Figuring out chat. Okay. I don't know what 5 yo means, unless Yellow is actually asking for gold. This also could have been Yellow. Oh, actually, Yellow is probably trying to speak to player 5. That's interesting. So, fun fact. Prior to the definitive edition, there was a Diplo way. Orange has this tower now, by the way. I was correct. You could do, like, the greater than symbol and then a player number when chatting, and it would directly chat to that player. So you could do like greater than 5. Okay, cool. And it goes just to teal. You wouldn't have to go up to the little boxes in the windows. So that was really convenient. I haven't really brought it up to the devs, but I really want that to come back. I feel like it would be really nice for Diplo games. I wonder if maybe Yellow just knew that was a thing in the past. But I mean, we're talking like 4 years ago now. So Yellow ended up saying to everybody then, I have no idea what I'm doing. Do you want to be ally? And it seems like people are ready to team up. And Red looked at people's ranks here, said, you and me were the highest elo, but I'm crap at commie games. So I'm keen to team. Interesting strategy, obviously, for Red to reach out to someone on the other side of the map here, just based on elo. But apparently Yellow's elo is near the top. Yellow definitely struggling a little bit, though, at the start from what I'm seeing, so. Jordan, there's nothing posted specifically for the TTL schedule at the moment, but it starts tomorrow again and goes to Wednesday. So it's Saturday through Wednesday for to end the group stage. Then leading up towards the playoffs, which start on like Saturday, I think, through Thursday. Actually, that's incorrect. I think it's like either Sunday or Monday through Thursday, which is a bit weird. So yeah, like you can have hotkeys with the chat windows to be able to go to the window and make the window pop up. But it was really convenient when you're trying to talk to someone directly to just be able to type their number. So what Yellow did there made me think that maybe Yellow knew about that. But we'll see how things play out here. Deadly Cookie and Filster have been around a while. Now, there are a couple people who are new here. Dandy Dan had said, I'm shaking, I'm shivering, I'm sweating. All those things at various points right before the game. Dandy Dan is new to the game. Or, like, not new to the game, but new to community games. First timer. Spirit Airlines is kind of a new name for me. Skillzoo is kind of a new name for me. And then Dr. Aura is as well. So I don't know. If they don't say, I don't really know. Obviously, in Filster's case and Deadly Cookie's case, they've been around a while. Hey, Kookie, only to you. Cookies for life. This is gray to blue, and blue is down for that. And they're going to be friends, but they're going to be friends across the map. So that's not really the best setup. Filster didn't actually respond to Cookie right away, but Filster now says, sounds like a good plan, Cookie. We'll see how things go. Yeah, Grim is correct. Grim has been around. Filster likes to play defensive behind a lot of castles with a lot of eco. Filster isn't really a backstab player. He's like kind of, you know, backs his teammates and just kind of picks a target. Now, Filster's original reputation back in the day was for wanting to be friends with everybody. But then he eventually built up to a point where he would attack. Anyways. Purple just responding to somebody and says, me, teal, and yellow so far. And Yellow says, yo, everyone can see your chat dog, which is ironic because Yellow didn't really know how the chat worked. Yellow's a really interesting player this far. The farms, I mean, not for me to judge, but the farms are interesting. The king isn't garrisoned. All these things come off as a little bit surprising. Yellow's got a bit of erratic energy. Whereas, like, then you look over here and Skillzoo's trying to wall in a little circle. The farms look nice and neat. Everything's good. Yeah, Filster used to love the Franks. He asked me if he could pick Civ the last time we did a community game, and I think he's accept now that I prefer random Civ. But if you like the Franks, you're going to like the Poles as well, right? Good farms, good cav, good eco. Filster just hoping to expand here. So something I'm not sure on is if the tower switches to someone else's color now. Obviously, we know this is oranges, but I wonder how it works. I wonder if it switches if someone else goes by it later. What I can tell you, 16 minutes into the game, is we're not going to have any fighting for a long time. And I'm going to try and get a gauge now. I want to almost try and guess how this game plays out. Based on what we have seen so far, which is obviously very difficult because no one's expressed any interest in attacking. But let's just consider this a challenge. Maybe we could all think about how this goes. Okay. I feel like yellow is going to be a big part of the aggression. And I think yellow is going to ask, or maybe not even ask, but he's just going to tell people that he wants to attack Deadly Cookie. Is that too crazy? An 8-way wonder fight? I don't know about that. They all have to make the wonders in the middle. Dan's eco is pretty incredible. Definitely took the fishing instruction I always give people very seriously here. But later to cast blades than some of the other players. I think the resources are going to be ridiculous when Dan gets there, though. 3,000 food! Oh my god! And that's before getting to cast blades. I mean, jeez. Dan can go fast Imperial with those resources. Okay, I should have known Filster's. He's all grown up, guys. He used to want to just be allied with everyone. Now he wants death. Blue says, any plans besides booming yet? Filster goes, killing orange. That Deadly Cookie just says understood. That's so funny. I mean, the sad thing here really is that this is Orange's first community game, and Dan was like, I'm sweating, I'm shivering, I think is what Dan had said. Like, Dan is really stressed about this. And Filster, and he started playing community games in like 2017. He did not have the skills. He did not have the eco. So for those that have been around for 5 years, it's something else. And if you guys have never watched Ring Nothing, just a classic game I did in one of my 24-hour streams where Filster was in that. Now, it wasn't a community game like this, but anyways, you know, that Filster, that was still Filster a few years in, and we got to watch him get much better. Now, I think what's going to bode really well for Filster is he's got a plan. He's got a pretty solid ally. And I think there's going to be a lot of trust there. I don't know specifically, of course, but I don't expect any backstabbing from Filster or Deadly Cookie. No mind games, no shenanigans there. I think it'll just be full on for the team. Filster maybe hasn't played with the polls as much. There's a question for T90 for when I rewatch. Does whole farm need to be in full work to get bonus? It does not. It needs to be a part of the farm, needs to be touching the full work. I also believe that it can be one tile away and still be okay. Like, I'm not sure about this farm, actually. But I know, like, you could touch the corner of the full work. So I'm trying to find an example. Like this, for example. This is accurate. Could be fine. But no, the entire farm does not need to be touching it. So most of these farms are good. Yellow says, yo, I do not recommend starting new hotkeys before your first community game. Interesting. Okay. Purple says, teal, yellow, we should prepare long-term trade our side. Okay, so this is the team setup. You've got green and blue. They're at squad. They don't want anyone else. But actually, let's see what happens here.
Yes.
Wrong timing on that, because Gray apparently is going to join in on this. Gray, mind asking me what your stance is on orange? Mind me asking what your stance is on orange. Because they want to kill orange. It's very interesting. Gray says, normally I'm teal, so I'm not used to being called gray. Okay. This has been an interesting one. Why orange? Is it just because it's next to Filster? Filster doesn't like that? Or orange has no freaking clue this is happening. But orange just reached out to Filster and says, want to trade. Will Filster respond? Hey, you want to trade? I have docks in the north. And Blue's like, is that for me? Yeah, maybe. All right, guys. Is there going to be a bad guy in this game? I'm not seeing a heal just yet. I'm not seeing anyone who's got a little bit of something to prove. I was thinking maybe yellow. Yellow's got some fun energy. Like, yo, tight. Oh, just got new hotkeys, bro. Huh. But, very uncertain on if there's going to be any attacks here. Filster's the bad guy? It is true. Filster might be the bad guy. No, I can't accept it. We ruined him. He was such a wholesome child. Now he's all grown up. And the times of war have changed him. Okay, so Gray is going to be team. I mean, he's across the map, but he's going to be team with green and blue. Which I assume then means they can trade. You know what I really want to see? Just because it would be so freaking ridiculous. I want to see trade cogs on this map. It actually makes sense to trade cog because they can't build markets in the corner, right? Because there's water. But, like, let's say Gray trade cogs from the south to the north. The path the trade cogs would have to take would be really satisfying. I mean, it's arguable that it's not worth it, and obviously it's very risky. But it'd just be cool to see the trade going through all the little straits. We'll never see that, but I think if anything, you would see the trade cogs going, yeah, along the shoreline here, which red is kind of doing right now. War never changes, but people do. I like that. I like that a lot. Well, anyways, as we build up here towards what will eventually be a battle on orange, I suppose, it does make you think, like, who is orange really friends with right now? Orange is talking to yellow. Yellow hasn't really responded too much. Yellow's asking a lot of questions. What's a good number of max trade cards, cogs, all those things? Red just says many. And yellow says tight. Different spelling than the other time yellow said tight. But yeah, I assume for the time being, Dan feels as though everything's good, but Filster hasn't really talked, and Filster's already building up stables, and Gray has already made a deal to get Dandy Dan out of this game. Now, last time I gave Filster host, he was like, I really don't want to do Exploding Kings. And because it had been so long since Filster played in a game, and there's this whole meme in this community where it's like every time Filster's off work, I'm not doing community games for some reason. So anytime, and then of course, if I ever am doing community games, people are like, oh, Filster must be working. So I kind of feel bad about that, because you try and get into games as he's working and whatnot now. Anyways, long story short, I was like, okay, fine, we won't do Exploding Kings. So he just expressed to me he doesn't really like that. And Exploding Kings is still kind of new by, you know, Filster standards. So I wonder if he's just not thinking about that right now. Yellow says, I have War Galley and Trade Cog on the same key. They actually, that actually happened to me before, Yellow. And red goes to purple. And, I mean, it's pretty fair. It says, your stone walls do not scream friend to me. And purple says, is it a threat? Now, I'm not sure if that's purple saying, is that a threat? Like, you're going to attack me? Or if it's saying, are these walls too threatening to you? And, I mean, it's a fair point. We don't have gates here. Oh, purple thought, is that a threat? And purple says, I am preparing trebs if so. We good, don't worry. Okay, you can't say I'm preparing trebs if so, ... smiley face, and then expect everything to be okay. Okay, so these guys are not going to be best buds forever. There's definitely some lack of trust here. Red expressed that, and Red could have said that in a different way. Like, hey, buddy, could you make some gates so we could trade? No, he was like, that doesn't scream friend to me, mister. And Skillzoo says, I'm just so happy to be in a Kami game, actually. And Skillzoo happy to be here. Now, Skillzoo seems to be in a pretty good spot. I think Skillzoo's got some solid alliances. Purple actually sends some resources to Red and says we must cooperate long term. Wow. Now, that could be to throw Red off the scent, maybe. And maybe Purple will still attack, or maybe that's Purple being like, hey, we're good. And this is a sign of that. 1890 question about Hussite wagons. I was just watching Viper Classic Pro match. Would you think that adding a minimum range to the Hussite wagons could make sense? I figure if a pikeman is up close, they could avoid the barrel sticking out to the side. That's kind of an interesting concept, in all honesty, for the Hussite wagon. I never thought about that. It would make sense, actually, with the way the unit's designed, that maybe it should have some minimum range. And it wouldn't be the first siege weapon that has minimum range. So that would allow, like, melee units to maybe do a bit more against them. That's not a bad idea. I definitely will consider that. Okay, so Filster's building up army already. Filster's ready to kill. And I think Orange is going to be completely screwed. Now, this is tough for Orange. I really do hate to see it, right? First community game, I was sweating and shaking and so nervous before the game. And now Filster is just going to stomp him, right? Normally there's a little bit more peace. Orange isn't ready yet. Orange obviously has the res to build up some army, but isn't fully expecting this. And it's just so funny. Gray says, what's the plan? And for the second time in the game, Filster immediately responds with a death threat. He says, hit Orange now. Meanwhile, Orange is like, hey, Gray, do you mind if I trade? Like, Orange has no clue what's about to happen. This is so brutal. All right, so it's your first community game ever. You've waited a long time to get in. Obviously, life feels very unfair right now. Do you have it in you to know that you're going to die and just send your king directly towards Filster's base and explode him? Can you even get there? Will you be able to ask for help? Blue and Gray are talking about this. Everyone seems to have just written off Orange here, and Filster's here with a ton of cab, with tons of upgrades, and, well, Orange is going to be completely screwed. Orange will not have the time to build up Elite 2 canoe. Orange will not have the time to go for halbs or for camels or anything. And the king might need to run. Now, the king is actually in a tower behind the castle, so you can't really see the tower. If you look hard enough, you can see it. It's actually a really smart technique here from Dan. But, you know, we've all been there in our first community game, and we've seen instances where people have been picked on like this, but it just, you know, sucks for Orange right now, as Orange is going to try and find ways back into the game. Halbs are out. Like, lots of halbs should be good, but I don't know if there's going to be enough of them. Green is attacking me. So Dandy Dan tells everyone that this is happening. I think his only hope is if someone's like, yo, back off. But that person, that player, would probably be Gray. And Gray's going to join the fight. Red says, who else is hearing T90 in their mind, commenting on all the things they do? Red, when you rewatch this, I haven't really looked at your base once, my friend. I'm kidding. Well, not really, but I hope you and Purple make it. That's all I have to say. I've heard people say that when they're playing the game, even just like a ranked game, they hear the little T90isms in their head. So, again, first community game, can you decide now? You've got to use your king against somebody. Honestly, running towards Gray is more realistic now. I mean, treason's been researched, so they can try and find the king. The king is now in this castle. You do have Blue showing up. So literally all three people are against Dandy Dan. He's got Dandy in the name, guys. He's Dandy. He's not dangerous. Dandy is not short for danger. It's Dandy. And, well, now Orange makes a run for it, but unfortunately too little too late, and Orange is going to die. Which is just freaking brutal for Dandy Dan. But that's the beauty of community games. It wouldn't feel good to win one if it wasn't horrible to lose first. And, you know, in terms of what to do differently, Orange, honestly, don't generate next to Filster, apparently. Filster in 2023 just wants death. And, yeah, Orange just is brutal, and that's exactly what it was. So, and now Gray, Green, and Blue are probably going to move on to the next target. So let's see what happens. If Filster says, Blue, want to kill Yellow next? They're just ready. I think the only thing, like, is attempting to reach out to players earlier. I think that's really the main thing I would say for Orange, but it's just one of those situations where clearly Filster just has his heart set on killing people. So I hope the others are ready for this.
Yes.
The others are playing more of the standard sit back, let's chat about it type of gameplay. And R says, I couldn't remember if Filster was nice to noobs or not. Oh, man. I mean, the thing is, if you go back, there's quite a few videos where Filster wanted to allied victory with everyone because he was the one that would get picked on otherwise. So he was kind of like everyone's little bro. And he wouldn't really attack. And now here he is, years later, and he's like, let's go get... What's the plan? Kill Orange. What's our next move? We move on Orange now. Like, he's just so brutal. And they're going to go right over to Yellow now. Spirit Airlines. And Spirit Airlines, he is going to chat about it. He's a very chatty individual. He immediately just says, help. And, Filster just made his move. He's here already, and he's just going to continue to do this, guys. Like, Filster's a menace. He's a menace to society. Who will stop him? I mean, Yellow really doesn't have any army right now. And maybe this is due to the hotkey change for Yellow, but Yellow is going to be in trouble next.
Yes.
Okay, so Gray is being talked to by Red, where Red is saying we should go for them until we get too strong. Teal says, I make army and come. Now, Yellow has actually run away with the king really early on. And is now hiding in Teal's base. But it is just all gamer time for Filster and Deadly Cookie as they just look for big attacks. Now, I think the weakness for green and blue is going to be they trust Gray forever now. They don't expect deception. They don't expect players playing at different sides or anything. And Gray is next to Red and is being talked to by Red as Red's friend. So Gray's kind of played both sides. Gray helped against Orange, but I think Gray could definitely be a threat later. Purple says, Teal, Yellow. I go now to kill Green with Red and Gray. Maybe they are tricking me to go there. Ooh.
Yes.
Yellow says, Godspeed. Teal says, yes. I mean, Purple clearly doesn't trust people because that earlier conversation with Red made me think that Purple was very much on the defensive. But at least Purple's like he's giving the other guys a heads up, I guess, in case he gets tricked. Yellow's whole base is going to be wiped. I haven't, like, seen any army either. Like, we're not seeing any production from any of these buildings, which is kind of the root of the issue now. And Teal, you're going to be next. Like, Teal, you need help in some way. Because if you don't get help, you're just going to get rolled immediately after this. Just to you, Purple. Gray seems trustworthy. No, he's high score, but let's work together on Green. And now Gray is saying to Red, I think Green is dangerous. So I think it's like... It's kind of funny to me. Deadly Cookie Filster's approach is actually against the norm in community games. There hasn't really been a lot of back and forth on anything. It's just like, who are we attacking? Okay, we're doing this. When do we go? Now. That's it. That's it. That's the level of diplomacy we've seen. The others have been like, hey, those walls don't exactly scream friend to me, and is that a threat? And let's send wood to each other. Like, the others have been really... Let's just say that if this was a show, the writing... Oh, God, as Filster's gonna go... The Filster's gonna go kill Yellow's king! How did this happen? Teal, you're still allied with Green, and Filster saw it and just ran right in, and now you're gonna lose some of your base. Spirit Airlines is dead. GG Yellow. Well played, Filster. But anyways, like, yeah, if this was a show, they didn't really put a lot of budget into the writing for Filster and Deadly Cookie's characters. All the writing has been on the other characters, but we haven't seen them do too much, so. Anyways, yeah, Water Tower will go down. Base will go down. That hurts. And Teal says to Blue, please know I'm LEL, I help you. And Filster invites Teal. It says, want to help us kill Purple, Teal. And Teal just says, yes. Teal feels like he has no choice. He just saw his friend explode and his guts fly all over his backyard. He is not going to say no to this right now. And what does Filster do? Filster just turns right on the next guy. When did Filster turn into such a bully? He just turned into such a freaking bully. And Filster says, we kill purple next. Well, Filster, do you see this? Because there is a bunch of Tarkans at your base. Filster sees it. Filster sees it. The king is in that castle. Panic time for Filster. The Tarkans from purple are here. Dr. Orr has had enough. And what's better? Repair villagers on a castle or Tarkans on the castle? It feels like Tarkans on the castle. They're silent. They're deadly. The king will eject somewhere, and the king is on the move. And for purple, you just don't have the backup unit to go snipe that king as well. Oh my god. Maybe yellow and orange can get to know each other, you know, in the grave here. And Filster survives. And this is the first time in the game that Filster's little bully mentality is really caught up with them. It had to happen eventually, right? And Red has also turned on Filster now. Deadly Cookie realizes this, and he says Red is coming in too. And Red is here. They're all going for Filster. What has happened? What has happened? This is wild. It's unfortunate that the majority of my viewers probably don't understand the timeline. But the transformation is just something else. In the past, nobody attacked Filster because Filster didn't have any evilness in his bones. Now, look at what, you know, has happened here. We've got Red trying to make Filster pay, and then purple, of course. Now, teal was kind of threatened, you know, or felt threatened at least. And teal is like, guys, where do I go? The Filster's taken quite a few losses here, at least with losing the castles. Lost a little bit of eco as well. But blue is here to help. Now, guys, here's the problem. It's 2 people against 4 now. Well, not exactly. Teal could support. But, like, you've made enough enemies with killing those other 2 people where now you might potentially have some problems sticking together. Teal says, I'm maybe not a good ally, but I want to live. Well, you said that to yourself, so that is not going to help you too much. But I hope you live as well, Teal. Teal's like, I need to speak my mind on this. The dust settles at Filster's base, where he's got 102 army. Blue has the Farimba light cav, camels, and cavaliers, so all that crazy attack. And, well, you know, I'm curious to see what Gray will do, because Gray before was teamed with Filster and Blue. Now he's talking to him. He says, so Red and Perp attacked you. What about Teal? Gray just wants information here.
Yes.
Filster doesn't really ask questions that are going to lead to long conversations. He just wants an important answer right away. He says, Teal, want to help us kill Red and Purple? Teal says, yes. And I assume Teal's going to say, couldn't do this. I mean, I wouldn't, though. He says, okay, Purple first. Now, this could be, like, because Purple hasn't chatted. Oh, my God. This castle from Blue is so good, though. It's killing all Purple's trade. I think Teal just really wanted to be valued as a friend and an ally, and Purple and Red didn't really give Teal that. Can we appreciate the amount of Hussars we're seeing? The Magyar Hussar, the Winged Hussar. Oh, satisfying. Okay, and now Teal is in a really rough position, because now Dr. Orr says, Teal, help us against Blue. So, poor Teal over here, who just wants to live, is in the middle of... He's in the middle of quite a pickle. And Teal says to us, guys... To us, for our benefit, I hate it. What should I do? And I honestly don't know, because it's going to be really tough for you either way, but you got to pick one. Filsters is giving tips on what to make. Saying go for trash units. I mean, honestly, the Tarkin should have no success against camels at this point. So I don't expect the Tarkins to accomplish that much. The Magyar Hussar, though, really good. Paladins are really good. Gray says, I'm not sure Teal looks like a 2 versus 2. Oh, yeah, because Teal's asking Gray, who are you with? That's true. Gray isn't helping any of these teams. Gray says, any team I choose is wrong, and I'm afraid. Teal says, both want me to fight. Let's choose one side.
Yes.
Gray says, let's team together and choose one. Teal says, yes. I love how they're just going to chat about it. Gray says, I say get perp. Interesting choice. And then Teal's like, kill him?
Yes.
Maybe they'll do it. Might be bad for purple in a second. It obviously would then be bad for red as well. Purple actually just sent food right over to purple to help out. And I see these cataphracts moving, guys. They're on the way. Teal's like, well, I've got a plan now. Let's go. And is Gray going to do it as well? I see transport ships down here. I think Gray's going to muster up the courage. Teal, if you're going to turn on purple... If not, I don't know. So I was just about to say, like, there's going to be a point where Gray and Teal get called out for not doing something. Oh, God. All the villagers died. Gray needs population space, apparently. Gray's going to be sneaky about this with camels, Mamelukes, and then Trebs. Red says going for Green King. Magyar Hussars are on the way. And Gray is letting Green know I will go for perp. And then Teal says I go, but through my base so he's not suspicious. So everything is going according to plan right now for Filster and for Deadly Cookie. Filster and Deadly Cookie just came in here like, I want violence. And I'm just going to pick a target and go. And, I mean, so far it's worked. Whether people have been intimidated or not into agreeing with him, I don't know. But here we go. And that's a lot of Tarkins, guys. That's also a lot of castles from purple. And obviously purple might say something about this, but the king for purple is in that tower between the castles. Kind of hard to surround that, I imagine. And now Teal has been turned on by purple. And Teal hasn't turned on purple yet. Because Teal is new and Teal is trying to find the option. And Teal found the option now. And is going to try and attack the tower. But it's probably really hard to click. And then the king is simply just going to go directly into a castle. Purple was ready for this. Purple will be fine here. Purple will have no problems against these. Go! Purple's dead! Oh my god! Dr. Orr is dead. And Skillzoo, who just wants to live, gets the kill. Oh man, Dr. Orr. Well, jeez, man. Gray actually got credit for it, which is kind of funny. Gray's just over here taking out a castle. Someone just said, good job, Gray. Purple says that was unexpected, and, well, now what do they do, right? Because red is left, and I suppose they're going to go to red. In before Filster says red next. Wait for it. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is Filster's moment.
Yes.
Oh, that would have been such good timing.
Yes.
Red says Gray needs your help. It feels like Teal and Gray are a team. I don't think Gray should fight with Red. Red's playing really well, but honestly, I think for now, they probably should fight with Green and Blue. They are talking about going after Blue, though. Red's put up an amazing fight this game, we do have to say. And Red maybe thinking about a snipe here, because things are going to be tricky otherwise. So maybe Omni Shambles has a really good opportunity to be friends with Gray and Teal here in the long run. And Cookie says, coming for me should be fine. Remember, Malians have the +7 attack on their camels, so should be fine indeed. But that is a lot of paladins. I think Red may or may not have researched treason here. I think Red's just running in, hoping to find the king. But, yeah, is it going to attack this castle? There is no king in that castle. It is in this one. All those units will die. As Gray is encouraging Teal to go for blue, and Gray's apparently going to transport there. T90 is a water bottle. Worst case, it's 3v2. This is great. That's true. Yeah, worst case, they're up against blue and green. Mamelukes are also really good. We haven't really seen the Mamelukes kill anything this game. What has Gray actually killed? 75 units. No, 16 units, excuse me. They're looking for blue's king. Red says, Red, you turning, bro. So I don't know if he's talking to himself or what. Filster's trying to make his way to red. Red's obviously very stressed right now. I mean, from what we can see, right? He says, Gray, you turning against me, bro. Yeah, from what we can see, Gray has not been active at all. Gray has not shown realistic, consistent support for any team that he's pledged allegiance to thus far. Hey, Red's asking for help. Gray, you've just gotta do this. There's being sneaky, and then this is not that type of game, unfortunately. There's games which have just been an out-and-out brawl where you've got to pick a side. And Red's now kind of snitching. Says Teal, Gray isn't helping me much. I reckon he's waiting for me to die. And Teal really likes Red. So, you know, that's a little... Or really likes Gray anyways. There's a little bit of conflict there. You know, again, we're going to see if there's a move, but Gray is actually over here on blue. This is what Gray was focusing on. Makes perfect sense now. This is what Gray had said he would do. But he had only said it to Teal. He never really told Omni Shambles. And anyways, Castle's starting to go down now. And Mamelukes are sick. Mamelukes will kill everything that's in this game right now. And blue now says, Gray turned on me. Funnily enough, includes Gray in that conversation. Filster now calling out Gray. Says, Gray, you need to enemy red. But I think Filster's just now finding out that maybe that will never happen because Gray is actually enemied against Deadly Cookie. And it's been an interesting game. Especially because Teal just says, I get him, which I think means he's going to get Gray. And no, that's actually just blue. Maybe he's talking about the king here as the Cataphracts have looped in here from Skill Zoo, hoping to find the king. It has been an interesting game. Let's check stockpiles. I mean, Gray's going to go forever. Filster's going to go forever. Everyone's in a really good spot except for Red, but it makes sense because Red's basically fighting on his own. Like, yeah, Gray and Teal are going after blue, which is obviously really good in the long run for Red. But Red has been fighting in a 2v1 scenario for a while. Now it's a 1v1 scenario, though. So Deadly Cookie, realizing this is horrible, says, can we talk about this, Gray? Can we just have a little chat? I highly doubt that conversation is going to take place. I mean, why would you, right? Deadly Cookie's had an amazing game. He's got an amazing defensive setup, but it's slowly crumbling here. And like we mentioned, the Mamelukes are just eating. They eat infantry. They eat cav. I think the main weakness of the Mameluke is like range units. Like Arbalest, cav archers. And then Siege can sometimes have an effect as well, but... Boo obviously still trying to support here. And Filster... Filster doesn't even offer any type of words of encouragement. He says, Blue, if you're going to die, kill Gray with King. Blue says, still fine. He's like, I'm still here. All right, don't write me off yet. Filster, have a little bit of tact, man. Like, I mean, in all fairness, like, Filster, you need the guy to be alive. Because then you're dead. But I guess he figures, well, if he's going to die, might as well kill somebody else. Deadly Cookie says, oh, Teal turned on me too. Whoops. Yep, really distracting. And Purple says, I'm still shaking. Diplo is so stressful. Ah, so it was Purple who said he was shaking, and it was Dandy Dan who was the one, actually, who had said they were sweating. Good game, Dr. Roar. In all honesty, you had the defensive setup. Just needed to set the rally point from that tower into a castle. You would have been fine there. And it felt like a flip of a coin decided how this game would go in terms of you know, purple or blue, because teal and gray were unsure on which side to go to. And tricky stuff, though. I feel bad because I think yellow, purple, and orange were hoping for a more diplomatic game. And this really hasn't been a Diplo game at all. I mean, obviously there's been some level of Diplo, but there hasn't been a whole lot of patience. It's just been brutality. Blue had this sneaky base earlier. I remember killing purple's trade. And so Deadly Cookie now with a little side attack. And I mean, he is starting to treb the castles from teal. He's building more castles over here. He's killing a lot of teal villagers. And we know teal is lower rank, right? Filster says teal, blue, gray. Can we all have peace to kill red? And blue says that would be lovely. And we'll see if that ends up happening here. I don't know. I mean, teal is... Guys got to defend this. And will probably do so, which is kind of nice. But blue's still building up over here. I don't know. I'll be curious to see what happens. Gray is the most important player in this game solely due to the Mameluke, though, if everyone's making cap. Gray's KD is going to be ridiculous. He's also got 120 army. Let's try and find the KD here. 316 kills and 78 deaths. Oh, it feels so good to see the Mameluke dominate. I don't know, guys. Stockpiles, again, important. There's probably trade involved for everybody. Filster only 5 gold workers. 10k gold, though. 40 gold workers for teal. And no caravan for teal, so the trade's moving pretty slow. But still, there is trade. Also, teal's eco balance is pretty ridiculous. And teal's going to clean up this raid from blue. And there's 60 cataphracts here. Red and gray advancing. Blue and green are dead. Yeah, blue and green are going to die. It's 3v2. I also think the army is tough. Filster says red isn't going to be easy to defeat even after we die. And Deadly Cookie says, I can try and blow up teal. I mean, yeah, teal would probably be an easy explosion because you could just get close to this and at least take out teal's castles. That might end the game for teal. I wonder if Deadly Cookie feels like this is it. I think Deadly Cookie is just simply going to do that right now. Skillzoo, you killed purple. And you did that for blue and green. And kind of gray? I kind of forget. Yeah, it was... At least that ended up, you know, happening mainly due to the cause of green and blue. And so you went against what they wanted. You went against that team because you had to choose a side here. And obviously now, as teal doesn't have ballistics, this is going to be the end. And unfortunately for you, Skillzoo, you are about to get destroyed. I think red saw that. And I don't think teal has an idea that this has happened. Teal is excited. Teal says, yes, we are good. We are good. It's not going to be we anymore. Whoa! Huh? He survived that? He was just chatting away. He survived? Did that castle take damage? Hold on a second. What? How? I was so close, it felt like. I guess I zoomed out a while. Teal survives. Well, teal should build a couple monasteries and go to church after that one. I mean, if you don't have faith after that explosion, I don't know how you would. Skillzoo says it to red and gray. I don't want to fight you after that. You're both nice people. And Filster just allies teal and just says, hey, let's be friends. And we'll see if that ends up working. Weird game. It feels like a tile or two difference there. That castle goes down. The king is dead for Skillzoo. We'll see if Skillzoo is going to be able to make the most of it. Deadly Cookie now out of the game, though. Filster's technique, I guess, was just to just ally people. Just like, hey, I got to try. Gray did not accept. And you just don't kill Mamelukes with the poles. Unless you had a whole bunch of Arbalest. So, Filster needs a friend. And Filster's main man, Filster's best friend, was Deadly Cookie. Deadly Cookie's gone. They're all talking about Filster's king. Filster is enemy number 1. Never thought I'd say those words. But he's kind of a menace this game. And I think everyone who's dead, besides Deadly Cookie, I guess, would not complain to see Filster go. Right? Just you know, with how aggressive he was here. And Mamelukes are on the way. Filster, he told Blue, if you're going to die, go take someone out with your king. Is he going to be able to do that with his own life here? I'm not seeing much from Filster right now. He obviously has units in queue. You do not stop 50 Mamelukes with poles. And Filster's on the move. Filster's running away with that king. Okay, so they see it's on the move. Filster should realize if treason was researched. Filster, I think, deleted a bunch of vills for more pop space. Did you see that? Just boom, shift deletes his whole economy. That's too many paladins, though. That castle's going to go down. Filster's not anywhere near someone else's base right now. He would almost need ships. Skills, who says I get all I have to. Skills, who's going to come help defend Filster now? They're actually going to help, and here comes Steel to save the day? I'm a little surprised by that. But it would explain, maybe I missed some chat, because I did see that Filster allied him. And Teal accepted that alliance. The king is there. Is Filster going to have a second chance here? The king is on the move. Filster does have a dock. He could maybe make a transport ship, but no, he's actually just going to clear this all up. The old book are so freaking loud, man. And Filster will survive. Filster will survive, and Filster will have a friend. That friend is currently dying to a dead player's castle. So it would not be a friend that adds insane value if that continues to be the case. And Filster, oh, he hadn't turned on Gray at all, is now turns on Gray. But I mean, honestly, the situation still is, Filster, you're going to have to plan for how you want to die here. There's no way you stop this. Right? You've got Gray and Red, two very strong players against you and Teal. And at least based on score, clearly they've got you outmatched. I think Red researched treason again, and Red knows that the king must be in that castle and is headed over here. I mean, there's just not a lot of places it can be. It's not here. And Filster's going to have to make a run for it. And his king is in there, and he is making a transport ship. So let's see if he can make it into this transport ship. You know what would be interesting? Will Dandy Dan's sea tower attack? And then there's also a sea tower from Teal on this side. Does anyone know? King is still in there. And Filster needs to somehow clear this up so he can leave and get into the transport ship. That's why the Obluk are coming here. I never know with DE because they changed it. And, you know, it used to be that, like, castles and towers. There's Filster. Filster made a run for it. He's free. But it used to be that a dead enemy's castles and towers would always fire on you. And then they patched it so it wouldn't fire on you anymore. And now I'm seeing castles fire again, so I don't really know what to expect. But Filster doesn't know about that sea tower, and if he continues that way, Dandy Dan could get the ultimate revenge. Now, Filster, of course, he's been spotted, and it actually shouldn't be too difficult for them to hunt him down. And he is not going to run into the darkness. He is actually going to instead run... Well, he is in the darkness, but he's going to go to an area he actually has vision on. That is a Deadly Cookie sea tower. But they were allied. Okay. Kind of disappointed. They're both Deadly Cookie sea towers. So this is a safe passage. Shulker in my chat says, poor Filster. I'm not getting poor Filster vibes from this one. I feel like, you know, he came out ready to kill and be aggressive. And, you know, this is what you get, right? I don't think there can be any argument there. He's been very centered around winning and pushing forward and moving forward towards victory, but there hasn't been a lot of tact here. Filster knows this is the end for him, and he's going to try and end it in the right way. Now, look at those bad boys. Look at those Dramens from Teal. Why is Teal sending them this way? Oh! Teal wants to kill Filster! And the sea tower is now Filster's sea tower. And Filster has just passed the Dramens. And the Dramens, they are missing their shots. And I don't know if Filster knows what's happening. But Gray is attack grounded with the Dramens. Instead of right-clicking the... Filster, run! Run! Filster just sank to the bottom of the ocean. Filster's dead. So Skillzoo turns on Filster. And Skillzoo says, you didn't respect LEL. Oh! You didn't respect LEL. This is for the other Loey, the legends that got killed by Filster. Dang. All right. Well, you know, Red. I mean, there's 3 people left now. Says, hate to say it, but the only thing that makes sense for us is to turn on Gray top score. And, of course, Gray then goes to Teal, says, what are you thinking? And Teal is just like, I want everyone to be friends. Like, everyone keeps going to Teal with propositions throughout this game, and Teal's like, I don't know what to expect. Orange still here. Love it. Justice is served. I don't want war anymore. Friends, I don't want war anymore. Red says, as they said in the last game, war started. All right. So, I mean, Red and Gray are the top 2. Teal is the 3rd player left. So, Red, we done it. Now what are we thinking? Well, I know what Red's thinking. And Teal says, I had wrong chat settings. I don't want any war. Okay, I get it, but, like, what's your plan then? Because you're going to make a wonder and all live together in peace? Each player brings a villager and you can all boop the hammer equal amounts and contribute towards a wonder victory that we then need to sit an hour for? Unfortunately, war started. Oh, come on, guys. Why always war? Oh, my God. I mean, the ironic thing is, this is what Filster used to be like. Filster would now beg for allied victory. 2023 Filster, he just smashes people constantly. But this is like, this is bringing me memories. Anyways, Red and Teal talking. And Red's like, listen, we can kill Teal. We can do it. It would be perfect if Teal were to again propose some type of alliance. I don't think Teal wants to fight at all here. Gray, I mean, unit-wise, Gray should dominate unless there's a bunch of Cav Archers. Magyar Cav Archers would be pretty good. Red doesn't really seem to want to make Cav Archers. Red says to Teal, this is important. Are you with me? The only other option is he and I turn on you. Red has given Gray ample time. Or not Gray, Teal. And now Gray's going for a wonder. Teal responds. Teal says, oh no, please. Now, I don't know what that is in reference to. And Gray's making a wonder, and Gray says, let's make it Wonder Race then. And Teal says, oh, finally it gets interesting. Well, it's actually far from interesting because Gray has beat you guys to the punch. And Red just realized this is a wonder noise. And, like, if Gray's at 20%, there's no way you catch up. So you could try and gather up the resources for a wonder, and I'm sure you can maybe get there. But that wonder's going up for Gray, and Gray has picked the best way to beat a 1v2. Go for the wonder, and then just, you don't have to push out at all. Just stay at your base and hope for the best. And Red's like, we have to, Teal. We have to. We have to try and stop this. Okay, you convinced me to be with you, Red. Stockpiles. Amazing. Amazing for Teal. Amazing for Gray. And then amazing for Red as well, honestly. But it's only if Red doesn't lose his trade. Which, I feel like he'll be okay because most of the trade's going this way. They're all trading along here, though. So someone could lose their trade. Ooh, Gray's got chips. Red will lose all of his trade. Teal's just going to bring in cataphracts. Listen, here's my concern. My concern is Teal is, producing units from back here. And it's just going to be like one big wave of katas. It dies. That's it. Wait a bit longer. One more wave of katas. It dies. That's it. I think Gray's in position to defend from that. Red, who is pretty kind to Gray for long periods of time in this game, says, I'm sorry for our oncoming war. I have nothing against the people of the Netherlands, I'm guessing. What gave it away? Was it the name? That's funny. Okay, let's go. Go now, says Red. And, well, this is going to be a slaughter. Okay, this group of Mamelukes right now has 211 kills. Now, a couple of them are probably going to die, but very few of them will. It wouldn't surprise me if this group ends up getting over 400 kills. Talk about the wrong type of units to go up against Mamelukes. Whoa, why is it 450 years? Oh, did Dr. Orr research the atheism tech before he died? That adds 100 years to the Wonder victory. Here's Teal. Teal wants to take out the Wonder. Very pretty Wonder here. The Wonder victory is now going to take longer. Great, don't damage your own Wonder here with these Bomber Cannon shots. Also, Teal, are you going to attack? Oh my god, Teal, what's happening here? Okay, Teal is turned on Gray. Oh my god, it's easy. Skillzoo is lacking some Skillzoos here. That was a confusing moment. Maybe Teal was mesmerized by the beauty of the Wonder and decided maybe I shouldn't hurt it. Wonder did get damaged. I think more so by Gray's Bomber Cannons than anything. So yeah, atheism was researched by the Hun player, I assume. And Skillzoo says, I really like my clicking abilities and the pathing. It's okay, you can blame the pathing on that one. I feel as though it was probably some of the clicking abilities as well. The good news for you, Teal, is nobody saw it. We were looking elsewhere. T90 blind. Just hopefully you don't watch this video. Mameluke still shredding, as I think everyone expected. And the Camels in front's not too bad either with 170 HP. And I mean, Gray still has 400 more years to go, but I don't see a world where Red can ever win against Mamelukes. Especially if he loses his trade, which he's apparently losing because the Navy is over here. The Skillzoo have the resources. Skillzoo building up more cataphracts. Now, okay, here's a question I have for you guys. This is actually rather important. Let's say I'm allied with the Hun player in this game. So, who is allied with purple? Red, okay? So, if Red started to make a Wonder, would it also add 100 years to his Wonder timer? This is one of the rare times I've ever seen atheism actually, affect anything. They have since changed it so it affects Relic Gold, too. But, I'm curious on if the allied to the Huns would have also made a Wonder if it would have started at 350 years. I don't know. Red says, I don't think I can beat him. What are all these troops doing? And I don't know what troops he's discussing, but I mean, Teal just still slowly massing up the cataphracts again here. And Teal just, I think, lacking some skill elements of the game, just isn't really able to support. And says, shoot, I forgot about them, thanks. Oh, these guys. Okay, they were just chilling over there? Got it. I think it affects all players? Okay. Well, that's kind of sucks, but it makes sense. Round 2 for Teal. Teal just needs to click the Wonder. Or try and take out the King, actually. And is attacking to keep. I mean, Teal killed Purple when Purple was top scorer. Let's see if the clicking abilities are good enough for Teal right now. as the king is out and in the castle. Yeah, that is what purple had the potential to do earlier and didn't do. And king is completely fine now. Nice attempt from teal, but all the units are going to die. Red obviously will be happy to receive some type of help. The group of Mamelukes continues to climb and climb and climb with kills, though. And the resources are there for Gray, so Gray's still trading and everything. Gray is never going to lose this game. So there's a period of time where players will recognize, we can't kill this guy, and they will try and do something else. And the only real something else that I think could be a possibility would be a transport, but even then there's Navy, so probably not. Or one player decides to sacrifice their king. Now, if I'm not wrong, this is the first community game Skillzoo has ever played. Skillzoo was very torn on what to do earlier, just wanted to be friends with everyone, and said, guys, why so much war? I could see Red running out of resources, running out of belief, and saying, well, I don't want Gray to win this. I'll give it to you, Skillzoo, and trying to run in with his king. And trying to kill Gray and obviously take out the Wonder in the process. But you would need to kill the king, because even if Gray loses the Wonder, Gray is going to stomp teal. The red says, I can't hold him. Where are you? And, well, teal's building up the next wave, which is going to take a very long time. Teal a big fan of the Cataphracts, but unfortunately, being so far away with the production's an issue. So, this is kind of interesting. Red's going to die soon. And Red is probably out of gold and food. Yep. Can Red somehow make it close enough to Gray's base? Teal did try and get the kill, and it was very close moments ago. Yeah, I agree, Bree, that Red's mistake was unit comp. I think going Cav Archers would have helped a whole lot here, but in all fairness, not a lot of wood available on the map. So that could be part of it as well. Clearly, there was a point where Red was like, I am always making Hussars. I will never make a ranged unit. Not even getting like the ranged upgrades for the castles. Okay, here's some siege being built up. Onagers on the way from Skillzoo. Red obviously won't see any of this. The Dramans are on the way for Skillzoo. And Red just died. Where did he... Hold on, what? Oh my god. So Red got his king. He hops into the transport ship. And he wants to go kill Gray. He's on his way. Apparently the sea tower does not. It's a lighthouse. I guess it doesn't fire. He's on his way. He's making his move. He thinks he can do it, but there is a fatal flaw in this plan. And it is the lack of scouting in this area. Oh, the castle got him. And so there will be no explosion. And so Red is dead. But, I mean, he tried. Like, you can't go this way. The water made a lot of sense. And now it is a 1v1 between Skillzoo and between Gray. And Gray's making a whole bunch of onagers right now. Red played very well this game. Red played well. I think what really hurt Red's chances was not having the Hun player alive. You know what's kind of interesting is that Teal and Gray were at one point like friends. Skillzoo says, I mean, second place for someone whose elo starts with 7 is kind of nice. But we aren't finished. Dun dun dun. Whoa, you're 7k elo, Teal? That's crazy. Dang. So it's either like really high or, you know, probably 700. Okay, Gray says, give it your best. I'm counting on it. And Teal tries to make a deal. 1v1 Bombard Cannon King.
No.
Gray says, no, Gray, come on. Make it interesting. Of course Gray's going to say no. Gray wants to win. But, like, Again, do you remember that point of the game where green and blue were like kill, 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 kill? Red and purple were like kill, 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 kill. And then gray and teal were kind of uneasy on what to do with life, and they became friends? That was a fun time. Teal says, just my kind offer so you don't have to resign. And gray says, I go for my second win in a row, smiley face. Dang. Second win in a row there, eh, Gray? It's almost as if maybe when you try and go for your third, if you do actually win this one, people will expect you to not help them at times and play for the late game. No, I am not at all throwing you into the category of people to keep an eye out for. I would never do that. Big attack here from Teal. I mean, I am concerned that Teal won't know how to manage this type of army, but it is a strong army. Okay, well, onagers are going to take out the stables. That's a lot of onagers, though. So let's see what happens. Onagers going to make their move. I believe they've been clicked on the Mamelukes, and there is a castle there. So that is not the best of plans, but Teal realizes that. Backs away. Now it's 250 years until Gray gets that victory. We don't have any Trebs yet here from Skillzoo, who could really use some. If Trebs were here, like, you'd be smacking down the buildings in no time. Skillzoo did wall in the wall in this whole area. It's kind of funny. Red's trade carts are still looking to trade. Look, move, guys, let me in, let me in. Big attack here from Gray as Gray moves in to snipe the onagers, and there's enough cataphracts, and there's more onagers on the way. Yeah, Teal does know about the existence of bomber cannons. I love how Gray just decides to make a new stable there. Like, Gray's OCD just couldn't allow that to be a whole. Even with the existence of this massive army, Gray had to make a new stable right when the opportunity presented itself. Gray bringing over bombard cannons, which could help against the onagers. The Mamelukes were in the castle, and this is a big surprise, and that's going to lead to a slaughter. Just an absolute slaughter here. Those cataphracts do not stand a chance against these Mamelukes. Now, the onagers, there's quite a few of them, and they've been clicked in here. They're going to die, though. And it's a pretty big fight between two iconic, unique units, the Mamelukes and the cataphracts. But Gray has more resources, and the Mamelukes are simply just stronger. You can tell Teal just trying to force it. Obviously not having a lot of faith that it could maybe happen, and the fortifications for Gray pay off. The Mamelukes continue to shred. And we'll see if Teal feels as though another wave is possible here. Red resources not looking good, whereas Gray has 23k gold in the bank and tons of food as well. Let my king die next to your wonder. This is Teal. Last wish, okay? That's a new one. I also love how Teal probably knew they're going to lose and said, I was just giving you a chance. All right, so King's going to try and go on one last vacation before death. And he can't leave. How much do you want to bet he can't find it right now? How much do you want to bet he thinks the king is on the way over? Oh god, I shouldn't do that because it gives us all these notifications. I'm sorry, I just flashbanged you guys. Grace is nice wonder, isn't it? Teal's like Teal says, beautiful. One problem though, I can't find my king. Called it. Called it. Oh man. Hey, he found it. And now, oh god, not again. Red's trade card's blocking. Okay. There we go. Gray had to signal it. Hey, and now Red's trade cards can go in. Woo! Go trade. All right, well, you've been very entertaining here, Skillzoo. And Gray says, well played, Skillzoo, even though you stole my color. Now, there can't be any sneaky shenanigans here from Teal, because if the king it gets deleted, there's no explosion. The game just ends. So, but yeah, it's been a fun game. Been an interesting game, that's for sure. I mean, it's wild to me that Filster has turned into such an animal. It's wild to me that Skillzoo was able to make it to the final two, did very well. I usually take green, but that took our host. Really nice game. That's true. Filster likes green. And these guys are thanking me. You're absolutely welcome. And this will probably be the conclusion. I don't think there'll be anything fancy to it. It's just that Skillzoo wants to see the wonder first. Gray, it really bothers me you didn't even repair the wonder. This king traveled so long, you're not even going to give him a fully built wonder. And they're just reminiscing on old times as one of these two is about to die a horrible death. That's community games for you. And he says, you can have the kill. Is it the tower or is it the castle? All of the above. GG. Well, that was a fun game, man. I mean, like, I'm still kind of shook because I've been doing this for so long. I remember how things used to be. And it feels like, you know, as time goes on, people change, but war never does, as people have said. And a fun one. Really smart planning ahead from Gray, though. Gray was talking to blue and green. And blue and green made it very clear what their intentions were. They just wanted to kill this player. What's the plan? Kill orange. What's the plan? Kill yellow. Kill. There was no funky business going on. So Gray, I think it was pretty easy for Gray to read it. But then Gray, simultaneous to that, was talking to these guys. So in all fairness, Gray did help against orange, but it didn't feel like there were any real consequences to that because of orange not really being tight with anybody else from what I could see. And then, you know, like red and purple, obviously, were going to town against green and blue. Teal had to pick a side. Teal ultimately probably picked the right side just because Teal ended up getting the second place. And you know, Gray just kind of in the background for a while, banking up those resources. Also, Saracen's just fantastic, man. Like, Saracen's so good. And look at the KD there. Should we have probably seen more archer units on the field to possibly compete with that? Yes. But, you know, the real weakness of Saracens as a civ is, like, or just like Mamelukes, I guess, is it's just costly, right? And in community games, if you've got trade and you have good economy, you could make Mamelukes forever. And that's exactly what Gray ended up doing here. Eco is important. Trade, 62k trade profit there. The food count was also very strong, of course. A fun game. A game that maybe will discourage some when trying to get into games in the future. I hope not, though. I feel bad for Dandy Dan. I'll definitely remember that name if Dandy Dan gets in again. I'm sure Dandy Dan's going to be like, hey, listen, I got teamed up on last time. I want to be part of the winning team this time. Or maybe it'll change Dandy Dan, and Dandy Dan will no longer be Dandy, and it'll be... I feel like Dangerous Dan is actually a pretty good name, but I'll let him live his life. Good game, everybody. And well played. Okay, so I'm recording this well after the fact. This was hours later that I got this information. But Tom from the game here, I guess for the edit later on YouTube, showed up after watching my cast and says, T90, I just saw you see my docs. He said, today I learned that Gurjaras do not, in fact, get food income from garrison fishing ships. So to anyone who was wondering that, Tom did think that garrisoning fishing ships brought you food, and apparently Tom had them in feudal age. Tom, no offense, but how did you not realize in feudal age that wasn't helping you? I feel like you should know. In feudal, it's like in imp, if you have thousands of resources, it's different. But, oh, that's funny. I'm so proud of myself that I called that. Because there was no other possible explanation for that. Oh, my God. That's funny.